Welcome back, everybody. So, in today's micro lecture, we're going to continue our conversation of evidence-based practice and goal writing, and we're going to specifically define and identify what we call SMART goals. So, our goals, obviously, for today are to discuss also the difference between long-term and short-term goals, and as I said in the previous slide, also to define SMART goals, because what I have found in the past is that people look at SMART goals as not one and the same. So let's take a few minutes to go over this and then we can discuss further. So what are some examples of long-term goals, right? So when we think about a long-term goal, we're really thinking about what do we want our client, our student, our patient to accomplish in his or her entire life? What do you want your student with autism to accomplish? So one example could be to increase verbal expression. One could be to increase receptive comprehension. What else could we think about for someone with ASD? I'm just going to leave that hanging there. I want you to think about it. So that being said, I wanted to take a moment to talk about SMART goals because depending on where you are employed as a clinician, they might use this approach, which is not different than our previous presentation when we talked about how to write goals using condition, performance, and criterion. So SMART, the S in SMART is specific or significant. The M is measurable or meaningful. A is attainable or action-oriented. R is relevant or rewarding. And T is time-bound or trackable. So when we think about a long-term goal, it's not necessarily time-bound yet, because you're thinking about what you want over the course of a child's life. But when we think about session goals, SMART goals are certainly highly applicable. So when we think about short-term goals, they should be functional and tell the what and the why. So here are some examples. Johnny will improve expressive language, which is the what, to increase social reciprocity in 5 to 10 different scenarios, the why. The second one, Colleen will improve receptive language, which is the what, in order to identify items within 3 categories, such as food, shapes, numbers, the why. George will improve responses to yes-no questions, which is the what, to obtain desired objects and activities. Again, that's the why. So I hope these examples try and help you in thinking about short-term goals. When we think about treatment or session objectives, now you're breaking down those short-term goals into more measurable steps. The treatment objectives specifically answer the how question, and really, how are you going to help one client reach that short-term goal, make one step toward that short-term goal in one isolated session? So that's what you have to think about when you think about session goals. So session or treatment objectives, as I said earlier, are written in SMART goal format. So if your short-term goal is Mia will improve social skills for purposes of increased perspective-taking skills, then what would be a treatment objective example? So here's one. Given a picture and description of a positive or negative behavior, Mia will determine if the behavior shown is positive or negative in 4 out of 5 opportunities independently. Another example, it's a pretty long one, hang in there. Given a social scenario related to a comment or conversation between 2 peers, which may include a positive or negative statement, Mia will provide a verbal response to explain how the hurtful/complimentary statement makes him or her feel in 4 out of 5 turn-taking opportunities with visual prompts. Now, what we haven't yet talked about is prompting level, which is actually critical for individuals with ASD, and we will certainly get to that. So let's think about, how is Mia's session goal SMART? How is it specific or significant? How is it measurable or meaningful? How is it attainable? How is it relevant? And how is it time-bound? So I invite you to think about that in that context, and also as you move forward and write further treatment goals. And with that, I thank you for your attention.